Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Now isn't that a fun card with a pop-up in the middle? I want to thank Tammy Beard for the inspiration for this card. She came up with a great idea of using the book binding like fun fold along with this fold that's in the inside that's been around for quite a long time. So thank you, Tammy Beard. So I came up with this using the Butterfly Brilliance. I do believe it is called something else as a suite. But the stamp set is the Butterfly Brilliance, and it has the Butterfly Bijou paper, which I am so sad to tell you is discontinued. It was a while a supplies last. However, I already had this card ready to go, so I'm going to be using it, but some of you may already have this. If you don't have this one, you probably have some butterfly paper from Celebration a few years back, or some butterflies from another designer series paper. So the real fun thing about this video is the actual fun fold, because you're going to find ways to use this fun fold with other papers and other stamp sets. So just looking though at this Butterfly Bijou paper, it has a big butterfly pattern on one of the, you get, well, I feel silly telling you what you get in it because you can't get it. But it has some big butterflies on the front of it that you can die cut. And then you have all these other butterfly patterns throughout, and then some really beautiful patterns on the back of this. Oh, so pretty and bright. But I know you guys can come up with some other patterns to use. So you are going to use a whole sheet of a 6x6 to make this folding mechanism on the inside. You'll see on this card, now we're going to make a different card, but on this card, it opens from the bottom. And then you write your message here, and then I put the butterfly there at the top. And that is a die cut butterfly, because this Butterfly Brilliance comes with these big, beautiful butterflies. Now these butterflies are all connected. So actually I haven't even stamped any yet. So they're all connected together on this, and save these little guys here. You can use those as actual stamps and make like a camouflage or cow or other animal prints using these odd shaped pieces that pop out of there. So do not get rid of those. So the butterflies come all connected so that they can actually be die cut with one big die here. Whoa, shaking the camera here, guys. One big die that can cut them all out. Some demonstrators have demonstrated how you can just use your tin snips and you can cut actually through this die if you don't want to have that ability to die cut them all at one time. You could actually cut all these apart and have all these dies, just as you can also cut all the butterflies apart. But you may want to really seriously consider if you want to do that before you do it, or you can actually get two sets. So the Butterfly Brilliance is the stamp set, but I'm actually not even using it on this card. I'm just using the dies because it has these beautiful, intricate butterflies that can be cut out. I have heard through the grapevine that they're cutting wonderfully, but you need to maybe cut only one at a time on your cutting machine. If you try to put all of them on there, there's just a weird pressure with a lot of the different die cutting machines. So I didn't have any problem die cutting my butterflies out with their intricacies. But if you do have a problem, try just doing one at a time. Okay, so we've got that die set and this beautiful stamp set. So I'm also on this card using, not on this card, on the new card, I'm going to be using the Hippo Happiness dies. Now, I just want to take a look at this card here and just show you how I added a little bit of pizzazz there behind this butterfly that was die cut from the designer series paper. And I just used this wood grain pattern here, and I just took my stamp, inked it up in a color that I pulled out of here, the Bermuda Bay, and I just stamped it twice across there. And then I used these little dots here, or these dots. They're actually kind of look like sequins. So I used these smaller ones, and I just added in some yellow because I decided to use the bumblebee ribbon that we have, the in color ribbon, which will be retiring soon. So it's a really nice ribbon to tie. And so I put a few of the little dots scattered on there. I do believe my dots I did use So Saffron though. The bumblebee seemed a little bit too dark compared to the brightness of the bumblebee ribbon. So there we go. So that's what I did on this one. And again, that's the Comfort and Hope stamp set. And so that's got some really neat background things that you can put onto your card. This would have been a pretty one too, this kind of like twine here. So now let's get to work here. We are going to make a different card. Now, this is the designer series I picked, the pattern I picked, and it has some, it actually has mint in it and Bermuda. I'm pulling out kind of the darker tone of this green, which could be with the Bermuda Bay. So I'm going to show you how you do your card. Now this is just a half sheet of your Bermuda Bay cardstock or whatever you choose to do with the, to match your designer series paper. And it is just 11 inches by 4 1/4. And then you're going to score it at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. So essentially you're scoring it in half. The 11-inch side is scored at 5 1/2 and then also at 4 1/4. Now, if you subtract that, you'll notice you're going to have a 4 1/4 inch square here on the front, which is great for a panel to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 4 by 4, and all these measurements and all the products I use, all the colors, stamp sets, dies are all on my blog, cindyleebdesigns.com. Just underneath the YouTube video, there's a visit my blog here. Just press that link. You're taken right over to Cindy Lee B Designs. You'll find additional photos and other tidbits I have for you, but you'll also find the measurements. And also on the YouTube description underneath, you'll see the description of all the products as well with the measurements. So now we have our 4 1/4 to work with. So our next layer down would be 4 inches of a square. Now I went ahead on this one and I put a magenta madness because I like that magenta in here. So as you can see, I already die cut my butterfly out of the middle of that because we're covering it up. Why waste that cardstock? So this is my butterfly I cut out that's going to go on the inside. So this is my layer here. So why don't we just go ahead and put that onto our card base. So we are going to, I'm going to turn it this way, guys. I just want to make sure I have the same amount 1/8 inch border the whole way around. And there we go. So this is my 4 inch square to go on that panel that's 4 1/4 inch square. So there we go. And the next layer down from 4 1/4 is the card base, then 4 inches. The next one would be 3 3/4. And I ran my Whisper, no, not my Whisper White, my Basic White. I ran that through the Brick and Mortar 3D embossing folder. I really like it. I thought I was so sad when our brick wall left, but I actually like this one. It's smaller, so you really get a lot of detail out of this Brick and Mortar. So there we go. We're going to put that one right there. So we've got that next layer. Now, as you can see, I have some butterflies cut out here. And when I cut out these butterflies with that die, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got 6 butterflies out of it. On this card, I used the blue, the midnight, it has midnight, misty moonlight, and in that color, that's why I picked the misty moonlight for this card. But on this one, I decided to use the 2 smaller butterflies, and that's why I used the Brick and Mortar embossing folder, because I think if I would have put this background on here, these would have got lost. So I wanted them to just pop off something more subtle. But if I was choosing to do this butterfly, I would have went ahead and stamped because it really looks nice coming off of there. You can see that coming off with the stamping, the bigger butterflies. So they looked really nice with that. So there we go. So just remember, when you cut out on your designer series paper, you get all of those butterflies. So I went ahead and just did these 2, and I think the brick folder was really good with that one. Now, the next thing I did is I cut out Bermuda Bay. I used, as I said, the Hippo and Friends dies. I used those 2 dies, Hippo and Friends dies. And so we're just going to go ahead I think we're gonna pop our butterflies up. And I have my dimensionals here. We'll put those on after our sentiment. So shall we, I think we might as well just pop up our sentiment as well. Whoop, there we go. I was vacuuming my floor this morning. There were so many dimensional backs on her. So I'm just gonna pop that there. And since I layered with the Bermuda Bay, I went ahead and did the sentiment in Magenta Madness. I remember when Magenta Madness first came out, I was like, I don't know. Oh no, and now it has just, oh my gosh, every time I use it, it's so pretty, so pretty. So now we'll go ahead and pop on our butterflies. Put those up there at the top, and I think I'll just stick 2 of them on each of the backs of the wings. This paper is really pretty. The back, I was on a Facebook page, a team Facebook page, and somebody had asked, one of my teammates had made a gorgeous card, and they said, what designer paper is that? And I couldn't think offhand, what one is it? And then I realized when she answered that it was the back of this one, which is so pretty. Look at this, how pretty this is. Look how beautiful that is. That is a big choice to decide between using this and die cutting your beautiful butterflies. That's a really difficult decision there. So then we're gonna put our butterflies on here. Okay, now there is our front of our card. Now let's just go ahead and do this little side panel here. This ends up being 1 1/4. So the next layer down is 1 inch wide by 4, and then 3 3/4 by 3/4. So we are going to go ahead and adhere that. So just put some, now I'm only gonna put adhesive kind of in the middle there, and then I'm going to put it onto this magenta so that it matches the front panel there. Okay, so you're looking at this card thinking, that's pretty neat. Well, guess where those little guys are? These little slits here, these little slit slots or whatever, they were in the Hippo Happiness. And I remember looking at them thinking, oh yes, okay. They're probably for making, you know, ribbon slides. And then, came out good, because this just wasn't, it was a little too plain for me. Now on this card, actually, it wouldn't have been plain, because you could have just did, like on this one, I just ran it through that way. This one, you could have easily done the brick wall the whole way across. You could have done that, cut it across, but we're just doing this a little different. So what you're gonna do is take these little slits, okay, and then put them equal distance from your each side. So what I did is I put one here, and I used a little bit of my tacky, I guess it would be like tackless or whatever, but it's that easily removable tape there. So I just put them there so that I had the same amount of space on each side, ran it through my Big Shot, and I ended up with these little slits here. And then I just took my ribbon, put a little adhesive on the back, slipped it through the slot and adhered it, and then I just tied a little piece on here. On this one, a pretty bow really set it off on the top of the card, but I thought on this one, if I would have had the bow, it would have been a little too much, so I just went ahead and did this. But you know, just looking at that, it makes me want to probably, I might, after this video, run this through, remove this and run it through the brick. I think that would look nice. Okay, so now what you're all waiting for is the part of the card that you literally are thinking, how did she do that? Okay, this is so easy to do that I'll probably mess it up. So you're going to take a 6-inch piece of your designer series paper, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold it over, and you're going to get all the corners straight, and then you're going to burnish it with your bone folder, get a nice crease there. Okay, so that's one fold. Then you're going to take it the other way and fold it in half. Get those corners nice and straight. And you're also going to burnish it nicely so you have a nice deep crease there. Okay, now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take this corner, opposite corners, and fold it. So now we're taking it into make it into a triangle. Make sure our corners are good. And then we're going to also burnish that again. Nice deep crease there. And then we're going to do it the other way as well. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I will put it up against the top of that part of your trimmer that has the raised portion, and then it just keeps it nice and straight for me. So just get those corners straight and burnish that edge. So now you have your, it looks like those things we used to make in elementary school that you would say, "Who will I marry? Oh, Jimmy. How many children will we have? Oh, 17. No." We used to do those things. Okay, so the next thing is you want to decide which pattern you want to pop open. Now, of course, I wanted to pop open the really pretty butterflies, but this pattern's really pretty too. So I want these butterflies to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it. Okay, also, it's going to open this way on this card, but on this card, I want it to open, it's going to actually open this way. Okay, but one thing we want to do is close this portion of the card here. Okay, so I'm going to use some tear and tape here. And I'm just going to adhere this section here, and then just pull off my protective coating. And then I'm going to close this so that I have that little book binding. So now I'm only working with a 4 1/4 inch space here. Okay, so now what we need to do is get these butterflies going in the right direction. Now we're going to fold in on itself. So you're going to fold in like that, and then fold in, Let's get it. Okay, so there is our card. Okay, so this is going to go this way. So this is going to be flat. So you want to fold in this part and this part, and then fold it this way, and then this part actually folds down like that. No, it doesn't. I knew I would mess this up when I was doing the video. Okay, so this is going to end up being flat. So it's almost better if you put it onto your card, because then it'll make sense. I knew this was going to happen. I hope you guys are all chuckling with me. This is going to be flat. This is going to be flat. So we need to have these two pieces go in here. Yeah, that's right, because then when it opens, it opens that way. Okay, so you're going to put it as a triangle. So you're going to know that you have the two same patterns that you want on the outside. Okay, now I am going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus on this because it is very strong, and this is going to be opened up and played with a lot. Okay, so we're going to take, now see how that looks. You have both of these pieces pulled in here at the top. Okay, and then we're just going to put that right so that the two tips are at the bottom of the, the two edges of the card. It's going to be an exact fit. So you've got your two corners here, a corner here, and a corner here. Okay, now we're going to put some adhesive here, and we're going to close the card. Okay, so we adhered the bottom piece here. Now you can see how this opens here. So hopefully that'll make sense. It's really hard to show, but you have your point here at flat. This is going to be flat, and then you have your two pieces coming down here. Okay, so we're going to close it, And then we're going to close our card, press it down, and voila! Look how pretty our butterflies are fluttering around everywhere. Isn't that adorable? Okay, so you can tell here that you're going to put one of your panels here and one here. And so what I did is I die cut 2 of the largest of the stitched shapes squares out of basic white, and I have a little piece of green on here from another project, and then you're just going to put that in, you're just going to line it up showing, you know, right in the middle of the one section here. This is going to be a really interesting card to take photos of. Okay, so the other one goes over here, and just get it equal amount of designer paper showing on all 4 sides. Okay, so you can write your, how's that look? Yeah, that looks good. You can write your message here, and then we're going to put something here, and I just decided to use that flower, not the flower, the butterfly that I cut out, and I just background it with the Bermuda Bay. So we are just going to put a little bit of glue, multi-purpose Tombow right there in the middle, and maybe we'll put a little bit on these portions here too. There we go. But that middle section of glue should keep that butterfly down. Okay, let's just mount him on the Bermuda. I love layering like flowers and butterflies like this so you can see the other color out of his little antenna. Needs to get back into place. Okay, just hold that there for a moment before I pick it up. Okay, and I kind of like having it a little bit flying off the page, and then we're just going to put that right on the side here. Okay, so we're just going to put some adhesive on the back of that Bermuda, and we will get those butterflies fluttering a little bit there, those wings. And you could also put those, you could put them wherever you want, because as long as it can close, you could just play around with a lot of different ideas here, and a lot of different colors, a lot of different stamp sets. Oh, this is a great one if you have a lot of designer paper laying around. And there you go. Oh, I forgot to mention to you that on the front of the card, I used really pretty stamp set, Happy Thoughts. I love the sentiments in here. I love the font. I love how the sentiments match each other. And I just wanted to send some happy thoughts your way right there. So if you wanted to, on this white section, you could have put thinking of you. But I like to have, you know, an area where I can just do it, you know, my message. So as you can see, it just closes there, and we just have to mount that last piece there. And just for the sake of it, I will finish it off for you guys by putting this one, but I am going to run my sample one through the brick folder. So you're going to have to go over to cindyleebdesigns.com to see how that looks with the brick folder. But isn't that a fun fold? Oh, I love that. So it kind of combined this really neat fold that's been around forever with the book binding technique, which just, you know, it opens like a book with a binding on there. But 2 fun cards that you can make with the Butterfly Brilliance suite with the, here we go, with the Brilliant Wings and the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set, and then throw in some happy thoughts. And on this card, I threw in the Comfort and Hope stamp set. So a lot of fun things that you can do with this. I can't wait to emboss this piece of white here. So make sure you check over and see what it looks like. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.